Hello everyone and welcome to Shadhika's Holi Watch Party. As you may know, Holi symbolizes the victory of good over evil. It is a festival full of colors and full of life, and traditionally Holi welcomes the promise of spring after so many harsh months of winter. Holi is a festival that is celebrated with friends and family in homes, but also on the streets, with vibrant colors, boisterous music, delicious food, and rituals of gratitude. This year, however, with the threat of COVID still very present in the world, Holi will be celebrated in more subtle ways and in smaller gatherings. But the intentions and the promise of the festival remain very much the same. But before we start, it's important for us to also acknowledge that the world is still on fire. Communities here in the US and in India, in Burma, and around the world are still fighting injustice, are still battling the fallout of the pandemic. We cannot ignore the cry for justice from farmers, from women, from racial minorities, our Black and AAPI brothers and sisters here in the US, and so many more who are demanding the end of oppression. We're keeping those communities who are hurting in our hearts this morning, and we stand firmly with them. There is so much more to do, and here at Shadhika, we're not slowing down, nor are we stepping down from our promise to fight for gender equity. And as vaccines are slowly rolling out around the world, it is good to be reminded that there is also joy and hope on the horizon. And while we cannot be together in person ahead of your own family celebration of Holi this weekend, Shadhika is glad to share with you a very special program to mark the occasion. This morning, we want to celebrate our promise of hope, the proof of concept in the flesh of our theory of change to bring about gender equity in India, our Alum. These young women are the undeniable living proof that your financial commitment, our board and staff time and strategy, together with the guidance and support of our partners, can truly unleash the potential the young women of Shadhika hold within themselves to change the course of their lives, that of their families, and their communities. Over the next hour, you will hear directly from our two alum, Sabah and Radha, who became best friends through the programs of Shadhika. After a short video following Sabah and Radha over 3 years, our board member Vanessa Chauhan will join them in an inspiring conversation as they reflect on their time as scholars and where they are today. Then you will hear from funny woman Niveditha Prakasam, who is one of the female Indian comedians featured in the stand-up comedy special Ladies Up on Netflix. Her comedy is laced with truths about being a woman, about being Tamil, and what it all means for her in modern India. Our program officer, Upasana Saha, will join Niveditha in a conversation about those challenges and the work that still needs to take place in order to achieve gender equity in India. We're thrilled that you have decided to spend this morning, this prelude to Holi, with us.
मेरा नाम राधा चौहान है। मेरा जन्म मुंबई में ही हुआ है और हम लोग कर्नाटका से यहाँ से आए हैं। मेरे परिवार में मम्मी, पापा, 3 भाई, मैं और भाभी के 3 बच्चे रहते हैं। हम लोग के कास्ट में लोगों को लगता है कि लड़की तो दूसरे के घर पे जाएगी, उसको मतलब कुछ नहीं पढ़ाएंगे तो फिर भी चलेगा। बड़ी हो गई है तो उनको लगता है कि वो गलत ना करे, जैसे कि लव मैरिज शादी ना करे, कहीं किसी के साथ भाग ना जाए, ऐसा थिंकिंग करके वो जल्दी उसको शादी करा के दे देते हैं। ये नहीं सोचते कि वो पढ़ाई करके कुछ बड़ी हो जाए, ऐसा नहीं सोचते, नेगेटिव पॉइंट सोच के शादी करके दे देते हैं। मैं जब 10th का मेरा एग्ज़ाम हुआ था तो मैं एक शादी अटेंड करने गई थी, जो मेरी फ्रेंड का बाल विवाह हुआ था, उसकी शादी में अटेंड करने गई थी। तो वहाँ पे मुझे एक लेडी ने देख लिया था, तो उनके मिस्टर एक बार मेरे घर पे आए थे, तो उन्होंने मेरे मम्मी पापा को पूछा था कि मेरे बेटे को आपकी बेटी के साथ शादी करना है। तो उन्होंने मुझे थोड़े बहुत क्वेश्चन किए कि एज क्या है, क्या पढ़ाई कर रहे हो। तो वो अच्छे घर के थे, मतलब उनकी फाइनेंशियली कंडीशन वगैरह बहुत अच्छा है। तो यही देख के मतलब बाहर के मेरे कम्युनिटी के लोग, कास्ट के लोग या मेरे रिलेशन के लोग मम्मी पापा को मतलब उत्साह कर रहे थे कि इसकी शादी कर दो।
बचपन से ना किया किसी ने स्वीकार, ना जाने कैसा है समाज का विचार। जब पैदा हुआ मेरा भाई, सबके मुंह में थी मिठाई, पर मेरी पैदाइश किसी के आंखों में ना समाई। मेरा पूरा नाम सबा वाजिद अली सिद्दीकी है। मैं 17 साल की हूँ। मेरे अब्बू अम्मी और 7 भाई बहन हम लोग रहते हैं। इस्लाम में तो नहीं, लेकिन जो मुसलमान लोग हैं वो अपनी लड़कियों को पढ़ाते नहीं है कि नहीं बस 12वीं तक की ज़्यादा पढ़ाना है। बहुत ही कम लोग ऐसे होते हैं जो पढ़ा पाते। और सर पे दुपट्टा लेकर चलना ये भी है, और जो मैं फॉलो भी करती हूँ। जब एरिया में आती हूँ तो मुझे खुद को पसंद भी है, और क्योंकि जिस माहौल में रही हूँ, मैं सुनते आ रही हूँ, पढ़ते आ रही हूँ, मम्मी जैसे रहते हैं वैसे मैंने अपने आप को भी वैसे ढाल लिया है। गिल बडिल में पिछले 8 सालों से वाचा चल रही है और मैं 8 सालों से ही जुड़ी हूँ। स्टार्टिंग में बहुत अलग अलग एक्टिविटी होती थी, जैसे कि पॉट मेकिंग, उसमें डिज़ाइन कैसे करना है, कलर कैसे करना है, क्राफ्ट, फिर बेसिक कंप्यूटर सिखाए, और अभी इंग्लिश क्लास भी चल रही है।
कॉलेज में सर्स मैम के लेक्चर्स होते हैं, वो तो सब इंग्लिश में होते हैं, तो मुझे अभी थोड़ा थोड़ा वर्डिंग सीखने को मिल रहा है, नए नए वर्ड्स सीखने मिले। और कॉलेज में जो कुछ भी पढ़ाते हैं मुझे अभी बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आता है कि सर क्या पढ़ा रहे हैं।
पोइट्री लिखना मुझे बचपन ही से नहीं आता था, वाचा में आई। और जो 26 जनवरी और 15 अगस्त के मौके पर जो हम लोग न्यूज़ लेटर बनाते हैं, तो उसमें पोइट्री लिखना शुरू की, खासकर लड़कियों के इशू पे, औरतों के इशू पे, कैसे सपने बिखर जाते हैं, सपने टूटते हैं, फिर क्या क्या सामना करना पड़ता है, पाबंदियों का, वो सब के ऊपर।
खुले मैदान, कचरे की समस्या बस्तियों में होती है ना, ये सब के ऊपर काम करते हैं। और जैसे कि मोर्चा निकालना और नगर सेवक को लेटर देना,
जो भी हम लोग की एक्टिविटी हो रही है तो उसका मैसेज, उसकी फ़ोटोज़ उसमें पोस्ट करना है, उसके बारे में लिखना है, लोगों को बताना है अपनी बातें, लोग भी हमसे जुड़े, शेयर करना है, लिंक जोड़ना है, वो सब उसमें हम लोग करते हैं। जब मुझे पता चला कि जो भी अप्लाई की थी मैंने फॉर्म, वो पास हो गया है, मैं और मेरे घर वाले बहुत ज़्यादा खुश हो गए, क्योंकि कॉलेज के जो भी है खर्चे, जो भी है ट्रैवलिंग और किताबों के खर्चे, क्योंकि 6-6 महीने में टेक्स्ट बुक बदलती है, तो उतना ज़्यादा खर्चा शायद ही मेरे घर वाले कर पाते। और जो मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस था और बढ़ गया कि अभी मैं और अच्छे से पढूँ और अच्छे मार्क्स परसेंटेज लाऊँ।
जब मुझे लगा कि स्कॉलरशिप मिला तो मुझे अभी अच्छा लग रहा है कि मैं फर्स्ट लड़की हूँ कि हम लोग के कम्युनिटी में मैं डिग्री कर रही हूँ। मोस्टली लड़की लोग पढ़े हैं बट 10th, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 10th, उसके आगे नहीं पढ़े। मतलब कुछ तो मैं अकाउंटेंट बनना चाहती हूँ, तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है।
जो मेरे चाचा है थोड़ी खड़ूस टाइप में है और लड़कियों को ज़रा पाबंदी में रखना, ऐसी ख्याल है उनके। लेकिन जब 12वीं में मेरा अच्छा परसेंटेज आया तो बहुत खुश हो गए, बोले कि आगे भी पढ़, और यानी उन्होंने मेरा हौसला अफजाइश की।
मोस्टली लड़की लोग पढ़े हैं बट 10th, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 10th, और मैं अभी कॉलेज जाने लगी हूँ तो मेरा देख के लड़की लोग भी जाने लगे, अभी 11th 12th वगैरह कर रहे हैं।
Good morning, one and all. My name is Sabah Shadhika. Now I would like to present career opportunity. ICWA stand for. एक साल पहले थोड़ी मैं अलग थी, मेरा रहने सहने का तरीका, पहले मैं स्कार्फ ओढ़ती थी, अभी नहीं ओढ़ती हूँ। फर्स्ट दिन में जब मैं आई थी कॉलेज में तो कॉलेज भी अलग थी, फिर सारे फ्रेंड्स अलग थे, टीचर्स अलग थे, पूरा माहौल अलग था, तो सब कुछ नया नया था और फिर अनकंफर्टेबल फील हो रहा था। अभी टीचर्स भी बहुत अच्छे से जानते मानते हैं, टीचर्स को भी लगता है कि मैं आगे और कुछ कर सकती हूँ और बढ़ावा देते हैं, और फ्रेंड्स भी काफ़ी अच्छे मिले जो मुझे सपोर्ट करते।
परिवार में मेरे 7 बच्चे हैं, कम उम्र में शादी हो गई। हमारे माँ बाप नहीं थे, भाई थे, 7वीं तक ही पढ़े। अब सोचते हैं हमारे बच्चे पढ़े, आगे बढ़े। अब उसको इतना नॉलेज है कि मतलब उसके वजह से मेरा भी ज़रा दिमाग खुलता है कि हाँ कहीं जाना है।
The good part about the scholarship program is that it does not emphasize only on the academic part. It gives an equal emphasis on the community leadership, so that social sensitivity part does come in. The Shadhika scholarship program came in and we chose Radha for that particular program because we saw the spark in her. But because of that, the home reality and all of that was being suppressed. If she did not have got this scholarship, she would have got married.
डाउट आ गया था ये ऐसा अचानक स्कॉलरशिप हमने कभी सोचा भी नहीं था, तो हम लोग उसको इतना पढ़ा नहीं सकते, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 12 तक ही पढ़ा सकते थे। अभी तो लोग बोलते कि इतना पढ़ाई कर रही है तो इतना पढ़ने वाला भी तेरे को आदमी तो मिलना चाहिए, ऐसा ही बोलते हैं।
मुझे सबसे बेस्ट तो ये लगा कि मेरे डैड ने मुझे पढ़ने के लिए अलाउ किया, और उनकी थिंकिंग अभी चेंज हो गई है पहले से भी। मोस्ट ऑफ द हम लोग में तो गर्ल्स से ज़्यादा पढ़ती नहीं, तो वो भी नॉर्मली मुझे रखना चाहते थे अदर गर्ल्स की तरह। बस्ती की लड़कियाँ और अपने मम्मी लोग को भी बताती है कि ये दीदी को स्कॉलरशिप मिला है, और अभी मोस्टली बहुत सी लड़कियाँ कोशिश भी कर रही है कि मेरे जैसे उनको भी स्कॉलरशिप मिले। पढ़ी लिखी रहेगी तो खुद के पैर पे खड़ी रहेगी तो खुद कमा सकती है।
जब मैं अच्छे से पढ़ लूँगी, अपने पैरों पे खड़ी हो जाऊँगी, जॉब करूँगी, तो फिर छोटे भाई बहन लोग की पढ़ाई को भी मैं आगे बढ़ा सकती हूँ। शायद से मैं किसी की इंस्पिरेशन बन सकती हूँ, कोई शायद मुझे देख के बोले हाँ लड़कियाँ भी पढ़ सकती है, खासकर मुस्लिम होकर कुछ बन सकती है। We celebrated graduation ceremony. We wore those attire.
We show them our achievements, 3 years journey also. It's really very amazing because I can't think about that before.
As a leader, I worked in my community with my parents, with stakeholder, with corporator, but still I'm not aware about college. Few students were always demotivating me that you are from this background, you have no good English. But my teacher was good. She didn't show partiality. In my final year, I got selected as a director of Women Development Cell, that I could better for my college girls, my college teachers through my new ideas, through my new activities plan.
मेरा शुरू से वो था कि सबा जो है ग्रेजुएट होएगी, क्योंकि उसका पढ़ाई में बहुत ज़्यादा दिल था, बहुत ज़्यादा उसने मेहनत की थी। आधी आधी रात को उठ के बैठ के पढ़ती थी। हम लोग लाइट ना जले तो अंधेरे में पढ़ती थी, नाइट बल्ब में पढ़ती थी।
At my home, sometimes I'm not able to make them understand, but I talk to them, deeply conversation with my mom. मेरे अब्बू का एक अलग सा भरोसा है जो इसलिए मैं अभी भी इतना कायम हूँ हर चीज़ में।
ये सोच बहुत गंदी है कि बच्चियों को ना पढ़ाएं। बच्चियों को तो जितना चाहे उतना पढ़ाएं, क्योंकि शादी के बाद क्या मालूम उनके साथ क्या हो।
My parents also thinking change because before they can say you can't study, my wearing, my outfits, and sometime my thinking and their thinking also different. But now little change them. It's work in progress.
हमारे समाज में भी लड़के लोग को इतना कोई पढ़ाया नहीं, 10 से सब 10 करके 12 करके घर पर बुला देते थे।
इतना पढ़ाई के क्या कर रहे, क्या नौकरी तो जाएगा क्या तू, मर्द का घर में ऐसे भाई लोग बोलता है। ये जमाने में पढ़ाई मांगता है, हमारा जमाना गया हो।
My interview is going difficult because it's a competition in market. I choose accountant field, but company is always expect 1 to 2 years experience, but I am fresher. That's why it's a big challenge. I want to say younger girls, whenever you face the problems, you can't scared. Whatever you want, you do in slowly, but it's time to give change it your lifestyle.
ऐसी कुछ लफ्ज़ों में बोलने, मुझे पोएम लिखना बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद है। आई लव टू राइट पोएम, सो आई रीड। सपने भी दिखेंगे चाहे बंद आँखों के हो या खुली आँखों से, खिल उठेंगे हर माहौल से भी, कभी यशोदा मैया तो कभी दुर्गा माँ बनके भी।
Wow, what a powerful video. Thank you both for sharing your inspiring and courageous stories. I'm so excited to speak to you both today. Before we get started, let's just do some brief introductions. So hi everyone, my name is Vanessa Chauhan and I am a Shadhika board member.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for inviting us. Thank you so much, Shadhika. Like it's a great opportunity to tell about ourselves and everything. So let's start with my introduction. My name is Sabah Siddiqui. I am working at Shadhika as a donor and program associate. It's been 2 years I am working here. And first, I was a Shadhika scholar from our Vacha NGO. Then I got this opportunity to work with Shadhika. So I am happy and excited.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. To continue our video, my name is Radha Chavan. I am working with Vacha. Before I work as a admin and field worker. Now I am working with Vacha as a community organizer.
That's wonderful. I look forward to learning about all that you're doing in your respective roles. So you both mentioned that you're former Shadhika scholars. I'd love to speak to you about what your experience was like as a scholar and what that scholarship and the network of alumni really means to you.
Yeah. So like it was a great experience as a Shadhika scholar. Like first of all, we got the scholarship and we are so grateful now. Like we got opportunity to complete my education, to complete my degree, because my degree it was so expensive and I was not was not able to afford. But because of that, I am able to complete my education and then I can achieve my goals, achieve my career. But now as I'm an alumni as well as Shadhika staff, So I have both understanding, like being a Shadika scholar, what they are thinking, how they are thinking, what we need to done, what we need to think about in that way. So it really helped me to to have a conversation and to explain those examples with our team. So that was my experience.
As a scholar, I learn many things, especially how to use our scholarship money. So it's a big challenge for us, that how to manage our money, and especially time management in a it's a big challenge, because that time, college time also, full day we busy in our schedule. We never time spend with our parents also. Sometimes they get scared with us. It's a negotiation, how to negotiate with them. And also college participation, also participated many competitions and also got prizes. And in community level also, I take many social action activities, and also we get achieve in that, and impact also we get. It's a big achievement for us as a scholar. And as a alumni, uh, it's a kind of a group, or is a kind of a family. Especially in this group, we touch many girls in the different places of India, and we know about them, their NGOs, what kind of work did our NGO, and we share each other's our experiences and our routines also, and how we manage our routines, and how we work with our NGO also, as well as our personal individual levels, how we manage our time management. So we still we learning with each other.
I think that's so great because I that's one of the things, in addition to both of your individual successes and all the growth that you're continuing to do. One of the things that stood out to me a lot was you paying it forward and you continuing to inspire other women and girls in your community, including in your society, in your families, in the folks that you interact with at school, and continue to lift other women and girls up and continue to be a mentor. And I think that was so special, and that really resonated for me as I watched the video. So thank you for all the work that you do. Radha, for a second, I know we had talked about this earlier before we started the video, but another thing that really stood out for me is you really did work on the inside out, right? You really created a culture shift within your family. You broadened their perspectives, you broadened their views, you value your education and your increased opportunity for career and professional growth. Tell me what that experience was like, and how you're continuing to shift cultures within your community, and continue this sort of path of just opening people's mind and educating them about what it means to truly educate women and girls.
Okay, in my community, attitude was positive about education, because they see me, and like how I am growing, and how I am studying, how I matlab, sorry, how I am like how I'm like studying, and also I interact with new peoples, and also I teach to new students also, and how way of talking and communication, my leadership and confidence. So my parents, firstly, my family also positive for me. And also they, whenever they going like family functions or wedding ceremony, they always motivate to their children or their parents to uh, educate your child. I meet some parents, they meet their child, and tell them, you it's your future,
yeah, I want to you study like this, Didi. They show me, so it's a proud moment to me. And some people still like in lockdown situation, some people still like did child marriage. So I want to stop this because I want to get action, but my family little bit scared because they tell me that directly we take action, so our family peoples also directly uh, attacked us, or that's why I want to change it slowly. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think you know, it's bold. I
Yeah,
think you do some really good work.
yeah.
Um, and so continue your
And some
path.
people also tell that like in the younger than me girls already getting married, so they told me when you married, when will you married, we already already we have child, so when will you married. I tell them I tell them I want to build my career and achieve myself. I want to get independent, not like you life. You know how the after child marriage and how we faces problems. So they know the how the we face problems. That's why they told me that you are like get lucky or you are talented. You get like support me, and also they tell me whenever you want to marry you will marry.
That's powerful, right? Because now it's your decision,
Yeah,
and you don't have to face pressures to, you
yeah.
know, to do things you don't want to do or aren't ready to do. So Saba, you're now working at Shadhika, which is so exciting. Tell us a little bit about how you bring your own experience into the work and what it means to you to be working for Shadhika now after you've gone through all of the different milestones through the scholarship program.
So thank you for asking this question. Like I have so many like things to share, but as you all know, I have been connecting with Vacha since 12 years, 12 to 13 years. So you know, from child, like when I was in fifth standard, so I learned so many things, like you know how to conduct a workshop, you know, how to work in project, how, the teamwork and social awareness. We did so many things, like we did project on ration, we did project on girl safety, we did project on uh, girls education, and there were so many things we did. And in 12 years I feel like I've been uh, knowing all the procedure from start to end, to plan something or to execute, and and after the post proposed project, like how we can think and relearn. So these are the skills, these are the thoughts and knowledge and experience. I feel it's helping me a lot in Shadika. Like I got this opportunity, and I am from accounts background. So here I am working on database, the accounts and something, numbers thing, and as well as our like social work also. So I feel I am grateful and I'm thankful that this is my, this Shadika, like it's feel like it's my dream job where I'm doing both things, and where I'm putting all my thoughts, all my experience over here. So at Shadika we have so many scholarships, we have so many programs like English Shadika scholarship and virtual activities. Like since COVID happened, so we have, we turned ourselves into virtually more, so we are connecting. So uh, to work with Shadika for women, so and for younger women. And as I was experienced as a Shadika scholar, so I always think like if I am a scholar, so how I will think about this project. If I am a scholar, so how I'll think about this activity and this workshop. So I always try to think both sides. And Shadika, like our team always gives me opportunity to talk about my experience, like how I think.
That's so wonderful. And you have, both of you have such an amazing unique experience because you've experienced all the programs and you've succeeded through the programs, and you know what's happening on the ground, and you're speaking to your fellow peers and young women and girls, and learning about what their needs are and helping inform programming for Shadika. So it's a really beneficial and wonderful partnership that we all have. Radha, one of the things that you mentioned was child marriage, and it being a problem, and continuing to be a problem pre-COVID and after COVID as well. But what would you say are some of the other big challenges that young women are also facing in India? And where do we start to help them? So you talked about how you want to end child marriage, and so starting slow, starting small. What are some of the things that you're doing right now?
I already, sorry, I already told that like stop child marriage, because it's a 21st century. We are already, and now firstly, girls in my community, boys never studied. They drinks and angry on wives, like this kind of boys. So I already told that girls that like you already educate, you take education first, and you will independent, so you can choose your partner as well as you what you want in your life you can do. Why should you do this, like child marriage? We can't mature on that time. So yeah, at that age, and that is what we in 15 age and 14 age we want to play, and we growing up that age. So I motivate them, why you do in this age. You will do study or anything else, or you want to play game. Why should you get married and like you do at home work and busy within your family? Not is your age, and at proper age you get married, you will get marriage. That's it.
Sabah, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, sure. I will add few things. Like as she said, like child marriage is like increasing a lot in the COVID situation, and as well as education. Like especially girls are like they are drop out from college, from school, just because of they don't have mobile, they don't have internet connection, they don't have to pay the fees, because so many people have lost their job. So these are the very biggest problem. And whatever we have a problem, just these affects only on girls first, because it's like from the beginning to end, like it's always affects on girls. So if I am talking about, like how you ask us like how we can help them, to like to work on this. So like Shadika has always started, like has we have scholarship programs, and we have uh, all the scholars are getting education, they're getting mobile, they are getting uh, technology like laptop and everything, so they are studying. So maybe for child marriage, if we need to stop, maybe we need to educate our girls, and especially we need to focus on that, and we can't reach out to all the girls in one time. So maybe I can share one example. We have International Day of the Girls. So, and from 1st October to 11th October, Shadika has organized 10 days campaign where we have girls' right charts. So, we have 10 girls' rights. So we have like Shadika staff, and we have explained all the rights and what it means. And they already, few of them, they already knew because they are from NGO, because these they are aware. But from the 10 rights, they get to know more about the rights, what's the girls' rights, it's safety, education, everything. So, and that they made a chain. Like one scholar will get in touch with two girls in their community, in their college, in their relatives. So they were explaining those rights to those girls, like they are connecting. So we more than 100 girls, 150 girls we have reached out. So we always need to take small steps, because these steps leads to to big achievement. And these little steps made so impactful on those days. And those girls are still forwarding those 10 girls right in WhatsApp. So they are forwarding to girls, to boys, everyone. So, and if they are talking to one or two girl in their community, so her mother, her her sister, her neighbor also hearing what they are talking about. So we have made a chain. So maybe, and we already started, and yeah, we need to work more.
That's wonderful, because one change and created sort of a ripple effect across the country and created this network of women leaders, young girl leaders, and change makers, and individuals who are educating their peers and creating a support system and a learning system. So that's so fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
I can tell you, like it happened in 5 states. So yeah,
wow,
it's really wonderful to
that's
be part
so
of
great.
that.
And I hope it continues. That sounds like it's the beginning of a wonderful initiative. Just to close out, if you had a message to the generation of young women and girls behind you, what would you tell them?
Uh, I want to tell one thing. Uh, if you want to do in your life, first you do. If you change yourself, you can change everything. Uh, anything is Nothing is impossible. Everything is Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible.
Yeah, so maybe I have so many like things to share about this, because it's not a one advice I can give. There are so many things. So maybe, just like Radha said about we need to believe in ourselves. We need to see what we are, from our perspective, like not others, not families. So first we need to start searching ourselves, like what we are doing, what we are. And we need to start working on our strength, working on our weakness. And after that we need to start dreaming. So if we are dreaming, we have so many resources, but it's not we can't see those resources. But if we think about it deeply, we can get in touch with our mentors, with our NGO, with anyone we are trusting on. So yeah, from daydreaming to working on their self to achieve their goals, they need to start somewhere. They need to start.
Those are wonderful words of advice. Thank you both. I'm so inspired by both of you. Your courage, your passion for gender equality, and your joy. You're setting such beautiful and strong examples for our scholars, but also for all of us. Um, Thank you so much for doing that and for sharing your friendship. I hear you're best friends.
Yeah,
And it
just because of
shows.
Shadika, we met, and now we are best friends. So what's the good thing?
That's wonderful. I'm so happy to see that. And your energy radiates that. You can tell that you have that special bond. So thank you so much for sharing your time. Thank you for sharing your friendship with us.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for having us, and like for asking those questions. And we are so inspired from you too, and we are happy to talk to you.
And I also want to thank everyone who is joining us on Facebook and Instagram today. Sabah and Radha are exceptional young women, and there's absolutely no doubt about that. And they're fully capable of living fulfilling lives on their own. What our scholars need is your vote of confidence to erase some of the challenges that stand between them and their dreams. Please consider giving today so we can continue to stand with our scholars. Thank you all so much for your support. And Radha and Sabah, take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, take care. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
What an inspiring conversation. I am always so moved and strengthened every time I hear our scholars and our alum share their journey towards independence. The confidence they exude really lifts me up on my hardest days, and I hope it did the same thing for you today. They are unapologetic about what the solutions are in their homes and in their communities. It's really hard not to feel inspired to walk in their footsteps. And as Vanessa said, you have the chance to stand with them and show them that they're right to believe in themselves. Consider giving today. Your gift during Holi will be doubled using the text code on your screen right now. Thank you for your help. Next in our program is the conversation between Niveditha Prakasam from the comedy special Ladies Up on Netflix and Shadhika program officer Upasana Saha. The two of them come together to discuss the complexity of an intersectional lens to achieve gender equity in India. Without further ado, here they are.
So, hi Niveditha, how are you doing
Hi,
today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. A very warm welcome. We've been really, Shadhika family has been really excited and to have you, and it's quite a delight for me to get a chance to interview you.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And I'm glad I responded. I'm glad I'm talking to you guys because there's a lot to learn. And if it's going to be from you, I'm
Awesome.
happy to do it.
Awesome. That sounds terrific. All right. So, hi everyone. I am Upasna and I work with Shadhika as a program officer. And I'm based out of Pune in India. Today, I have a very special guest, Niveditha Prakasam, the rising comedy star of India, to chat with us. Just to share with those who of you don't know Niveditha, she's a stand-up comedian and a former engineer who turned a language editor from Tamil Nadu. So yeah, I'm really excited to have you over because your incredible journey as a comedy queen in this industry, which is so ruled by male, and I'm sure it must be exhausting, to fight that battle inside and outside your house.
That's a very, a lot of people have asked me this. And the thing is, I did engineering, I did automotive engineering, which means I studied, that was a little more male dominated than comedy is actually.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, there are no women in the automotive industry, very, very few. I had like maybe two colleagues that were women in my workplace, and they were all in different departments. So all of us had very singular journeys in this. We didn't have a collective experience, you know what I mean? Like, because we're all in like different places. And I'm guessing in comedy, it might be intimidating, but that's because of the art form. Anybody would be intimidated by it, like whether it's a man or a woman. The art form is intimidating. I was older when I started doing comedy, so I didn't have the curfew that, oh, you should be home by this time. I was already independent and I was earning, so I was able to go and hit open mics at any time of the day. But I think younger girls who enter comedy, one of the issues they face is traveling to open mics and doing the jokes at night. But comedy as such, I think, is one of the best places for women to be, because there's nothing stopping you. Comedy is pretty much free, and your audience is your boss, and you can rise to the top if you put the work in, and if you learn the skill.
Yeah, you mentioned about like you having a singular experience, not really having a collective experience in your in your job. And so I would be curious just to hear from you, how was it? And I remember, like, I would refer back to one of your banters and comments which you had shared in your Netflix Ladies Up, about how men looked up to you and saying that, okay, is she in our classroom? So how did that feel, like, studying in a with a bunch of men, and them accepting the fact?
You see, I studied in a very small town, and the boys I studied with were very. They came from villages and places around where they've grown up with a certain lifestyle, and they just weren't used to seeing someone like me. I was me, like how I am, and I kind of understood where they were coming from. I knew that these were not people that were going to understand an urban girl. So I had to step back a bit. So I had to be pretty patient in the beginning, and these were all really perfectly nice people. The thing about being in a conservative college is that boys, the way they respect you is to stay away from you.
Oh
That's
my
the
God,
only way.
yeah. That's
The
like
only
such a
way they know.
socialization process in India, right? Like,
I did notice some growth in their character, because a lot of boys that studied with me, they were, like I said, very conservative and had very conservative views, in the sense that if they would believe that if a girl was confident and went out, or even drank alcohol, maybe, right, she was somehow of bad character. That was
of
the
course.
that was what that's how they were brought up to think
Yeah.
of people, I guess. So, but I saw the growth over time, like when they got jobs and they went into engineering and they got the exposure. A lot of them accepted, okay, this is a world we're new to, so let's try to learn and accept what other people are doing. So I do have hope that there is a growth trajectory even in gender, where the reason men and women just like don't get along in society is because we know nothing about each other.
That's true.
And I think the more we come together and start communicating, and a lot of our opinions, female opinions, are out there, then men can also come and listen to us and go, okay, this is something I did not think
Yeah.
about, because I've never heard of it before. This is the first time I'm hearing something like this. That's what's lacking in entertainment as a whole, not just comedy, movies, and news. It's just that there's been such a big male perspective all these years. Nobody has a clue of what the female perspective is yet.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think that kind of brings me to my next question. On Netflix special, you use the humor to speak on openly about perspectives, again, perceptions and places of South of India, like how Tamilians are perceived in India, and the biases and the stereotypes that most often like people have when they the generalization, I would say, that they hold. um, what do you think about in terms of, like, do you think, especially around the colorism, the idea of being light skin has a much higher social value, gives you the pedestal in the society to be more recognized in your trajectory of life? So can you tell me how what are some of these stereotypes and challenges that women of South India do face, and how do they deal with it, and what are some of and why did you think it is important to talk about it in your humor?
The reason I decided to talk about it was because nobody talks about it. Literally, like on within Tamil Nadu, a lot of people talk about it. There are a lot of women. There is like a problem in remote areas where if the girl is darker skinned, I've heard stories where she won't get married and the dowry goes up, and there's a lot of street harassment where people like call her names, and these things are prevalent, and it gets worse when you propagate the idea in the movies that somehow darker skin is um, um, less or unattractive.
Yeah.
And they do it way too much in the movies these days. It wasn't like this maybe 20-25 years ago, but in the past 15 years or 20 years since the 90s, since the commercialization have like the massy movies came up, and we started hiring a lot of light-skinned actors, they started blatantly disrespecting the dark-skinned women in the movies as
Yeah.
jokes,
Yeah.
right? And when you do that, you normalize. The thing about jokes is the reason people say don't say offensive jokes is because it normalizes something.
Yeah.
And the way they started making jokes on dark-skinned women in these movies kind of translated to the general public in the state.
Yeah.
So now what happens is you have to fight that, but you don't have any agency because you're not powerful. You're not a powerful people.
Yeah.
There isn't really any way to fight it, but there is a huge feminist movement in Tamil Nadu, and that's because of our history. We've introduced feminism a very long time ago, where where the self-respect movement came up, and Periyar talked about anti-casteism. So we have the awareness that these are all wrong things and we need to fight it, but it's going to take a while. There aren't any female directors or filmmakers or actresses from Tamil Nadu that are really striving to make a change. There is one director now who's female, but she hasn't really gotten into. She's bringing like better characters of women, but she hasn't really gotten to the point of bringing Tamil women and Tamil stories in. I guess that'll happen eventually, but we all have to work towards it.
Yeah.
What that's why I'm talking about it so much, and I'm guessing other people will also pick it up.
Yeah, I like going to our next question, which I have for you is you know speaking about the importance to understand how women can like bring change to other women's, and you spoke about the importance of agency. And at Shadhika, we advocate for empowering women and ensuring that they have that agency to practice more and more of their voices, and speak up for their rights. And so we strive to create a space for our program participants to be fully themselves, and that can happen, and that cannot happen without the intersectional lens. And explicitly recognizing the young women in our program, they come from different walks of life, and it isn't, and like India is such a diverse country, and so we cannot really have a very uniform approach, right? The oppression, the level of oppression is so fragmented, not just because they're women, but they have different layers of identity, being a Tamil, or like being Muslim, or being from Northeast, or being or being queer, and just or just not being sure about your own sexual identity. So what do you think like is missing for the Indians to have that meaningful dialogues about such issues?
It's very hard. So what you do as women, or anybody that wants to bring any kind of change, is start with yourself and start doing it yourself. Every individual journey gives a way for another person's journey. Like, I am very well aware that there have been women before me who have done comedy, who have been in entertainment, and we're in 2021. I'd say it's very easy for me to be here. There have been women before us that have been through a lot to make the space for us and
Endless,
make
yeah.
like this platform for us to be talking about all these things. We have a long way to go, but I think it begins with policy making and making laws that protect the LGBTQ community, because the people they're secondary. If the law can protect the LGBTQ community, then the people can't do anything to them. It gives people agency. Now, that's where policy making becomes so important. Like, you have to make laws that protect people instead of crucify them. And that's where our genuine hiccup is. If our administration can communicate properly with people and help them find ways to protect themselves, then there's nothing like it. So this is going to be a very slow process, but what we need is to make laws that protect us instead of convince people that they should be nice to us.
So the young women, as I mentioned in my previous question, they come from different walks of life. They have tremendous challenges to accomplish their life goals. And it's much fancier to talk about goal setting, but when it comes to being realistic and and having a goal which can be achieved based on certain uncertainties that you have, like for example single parents or economic hardship, or the overall hardship the society brings in with the stereotypes and the gender norms. So do you remember your experience during those coming of age of as you have also gone through that stage, like from an just being a woman, um, leaping from one stage of life to another and moving to something, moving into a zone which was not that not that popular, and still having that strength and confidence in yourself. So what advice would you like to give our young women to find, to keep dreaming and to assert their voices while they're fighting these odds against the norms and the stereotypes and all the backlashes that they keep facing in their journey?
um well, the thing about confidence is that it's not about the external factors. It's about yourself, and it takes, if you're not naturally that driven and confident person, it takes time to build, especially for girls who have grown up in communities that have conditioned them to be scared of a lot of things. Like, as women, we're brought up to, oh, you can't sit like this, you can't talk like this, you can't laugh loudly, you have to be graceful. There's so many things that are taught to us from when we're younger. I feel like one of the reasons a lot of women don't get into comedy is because they feel like it's too clowny to be part of. Like, a big part of being a woman is being graceful and pretty. And when that gets questioned in comedy, because in comedy that's not your goal. Your goal is not to be pretty or graceful, it's to be funny and a clown, and just have a good time and not worry about anything else. And it takes a lot of arrogance to do something like that. Comedy is a very arrogant art form. These are not feminine qualities, but they are qualities you need to navigate in the real world. And confidence comes when you give it time. Not be you If you're not afraid to fail or have a bad experience when you're doing something new. So if there are young girls out there, they need to get themselves out there and do new things. Like, do you want to go on a hike? Do you want to climb Mount Everest? Well, don't do it if you're not trained, but you get what I'm saying. You get the drift. Like, if something seems hard, I think it's not even taking the risk or trying to prove to people that I think women get hung up on that a lot. That, oh, I have to prove to these people that I'm a woman, but I can still do this. But I think we're wrong there. I think we should just do it because we want to, because we can now. I think the world has come to a place like we don't need to break a glass ceiling anymore, because I think the glass ceiling has been broken already, because there have been like generations of women before us who have done everything. We've had a first woman everywhere. everywhere. There's been a woman in every field at this point. So the ceiling has been broken. We just have to occupy it now so they don't build it back again. You know what I mean? Like we need
Yeah.
to populate the space. And a lot of girls are very concerned about being bad at something. Like if I'm bad at this, then I shouldn't do it. And that's the wrong way to go about something. You don't quit something just because you're bad at it. You just keep going. Or if you don't like it, you find something else that you like to do or you're good at. But you don't quit things just because you're bad. You quit things because it makes you miserable, or you hate it. But
Mhm.
if there's something that you want to do and you feel like you're not good enough, you will get good if you keep doing it. um, I think confidence comes from skill building and not just overnight. You
Yeah.
have to be able to build a skill or build something in yourself, something that makes you feel like, yeah, this is something I can do. Anyway, you wake me up in my sleep and I will be able to do this thing. That's what gives you confidence. The fact that you can survive. You think back at your life and you're like, I have done all of these things. And so I know that in the future, I'm going to be able to take on anything else that comes my way.
Yeah, yeah. I think I really love that sentence of yours, which you said that we often refer to this sentence that breaking the glass ceiling. I think yeah, like you said, generations of women have already marched on that path and have made that path much easier for us to walk. And yeah, it's important for us to continue that journey and keep populating that passage that has been created, and not like shy away from the challenges that come in between. And because it is going to be a tough journey, but then it is something that we have to keep struggling for. But the struggle needs to reduce, and I think like you've emphasized a lot on, like, the confidence just doesn't come when you just wake up like the next day, but it is something, a skill that needs to be practiced and nurtured, and you need to get that encouragement, and it takes time, but we shouldn't stop. And I think like that's a lovely note for us to really end this conversation.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad I could contribute in some way.
Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best for your upcoming projects. And yeah, it was lovely chatting with you. Thank you.
After listening to Niveditha and Upasana this morning, I feel so empowered to do my job. The words of Niveditha are still with me. Change starts with ourselves. So let's hold on to that promise. That change is within us and is only waiting to be unleashed. Throughout our program this morning, you've heard beautiful music from Debjit Ghosh in his beautiful rendition of traditional Holi songs. As we depart this morning, Debjit will be treating us to another intimate Holi song. But before we close, let me remind you to please consider giving to the young women of Shadhika. Your support makes all the difference in the world. And today only, every dollar of your donation will be doubled. This means that for every dollar you give, $3 will go towards our programs in India. So stick with us until the end to get the text code to use for your donation. And again, thank you for spending your morning with us. And until we can see each other and hug each other, stay safe.
Hello everyone, hi, I'm Devjit Ghosh. Wish all of you a very happy Holi. It's a very colorful festival, so hope all of you have a great time. Ensure you have a very happy and a very safe Holi. So the song I'm about to sing right now is called Aaj Jaane Ki Zid Na Karo. It's an old classic song, it's a romantic song. I hope all of you will enjoy it. तुम नहीं सोचो जरा क्यों न रोके तुम है जान जाती है तो उठ के आते हो तुमको अपनी कसम जानम जानम बात इतनी मेरी मान लो, आज जाने की जिद ना करो, यूं ही पहलू में बैठे रहो, यूं ही पहलू में बैठे रहो, आज जाने की जिद ना करो। Happy Holi!